The 16 Days of Activism since the start has been supported by both technically and financially by all our UN agencies. The UN agencies, together with our other development partners, have helped the government of Samoa over the years to implement some of our gender equality priorities, in particular, Samoa's efforts to end violence against women, girls, persons with disability, and our men. It is my pleasure to invite to the podium Dr. Simona Marinescu, the UN Resident Coordinator, for her remarks.
Thank you, Reverend Minister, for the opening prayer. Honorable Fiame Naomi Matafa, Prime Minister of Samoa, Minister of Women, Community and Social Development, Honorable Aleota Laki Lamosi Telen, Cabinet Ministers, Chief Executive Officer Dr. Mema Motusanga, our close friend in the pursuit of all the programs on gender equality and women's empowerment, distinguished guests who have gathered on this auspicious day for all the peoples of the world, Talofa, Talofa Lava. On behalf of the United Nations and European Union, the two partners who brought to life the Spotlight Initiative and who work closely together on ending violence against women and girls worldwide, I am pleased to join you today for the launch of Malwe Ifale campaign, 16 Days of Activism with the Ministry of Women, Community and Social Development. While ending violence is still an unfinished job in this country, and thank you, Honorable Minister, for acknowledging areas in which we have a lot more to work. Close to 4 years from the launch of the Spotlight Initiative, Samoa is a profoundly transformed society. And owing to your unwavering commitment, the transformation will continue. After the launch of the Spotlight Initiative for the Pacific on 26th of February 2019 in Apia, that brought 50 million euros from the European Union to end domestic and intimate partner violence in the region, a whole of government, whole of society movement began in Samoa to recognize and protect rights, save lives, and improve relationships in the family and community. The Spotlight deeply rooted partnership within the society, within the community, unleash the power of the rich culture and traditions of this nation to heal and renew and provide a safe space for women and girls to be respected and valued and to voice their needs and aspirations without fear. Women and girls we are acknowledging today are mothers, daughters, sisters, close relatives and friends, people like all of us demanding rights, equal treatment and justice. 25th of November became a symbol of violence against women due to the assassinations on 25th of November 1960 of three Mirabal sisters by Rafael Trujillo, the leader of the Dominican Republic. I'm quite sure many of you know very well this story. The three young women were brutally killed for their political activism. It was only 19 years after, in 1979, when the Convention on Elimination of Discrimination Against Women came to life, and many more years later, in December 1993, when the General Assembly adopted the Declaration on the Elimination of Violence Against Women, opening the way towards eradicating violence against women and girls worldwide. Finally, it was on 7th of February 2000 when the General Assembly adopted a resolution to designate this day, 25th of November, as the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, inviting governments, international organizations, as well as NGOs to join together and raise public awareness of the issue every year on that date. Despite all efforts, over 1/3 of all women aged 15 and above are reported to have experienced one or more forms of violence at the hands of their intimate partners. Some 81,000 women and girls were killed intentionally in 2021 alone, out of whom 45,000 as a result of domestic violence. That means 5 women and girls are killed every hour, or 120 women and girls are killed every day in and by their own families a horrible reality that we strive to put an end to globally. Recent data on domestic violence in the Pacific still shows high incidence of domestic violence and intimate partner violence, to a large extent driven by socioeconomic hardship brought about by the pandemic and the multiple crises we experience globally. The not so good news is that the coming years will not see those crises resolved. Most of the people everywhere continuing to experience shortage of food and increasing costs of living, which will add stress to their family lives. It is therefore important that we continue our efforts to cultivate unity and respect for rights and shared values in our families and communities to ensure we navigate difficult times together. Only through respect for one another can we reduce the burden of global economic distress on our families and protect what is essential to everyone's well-being, harmony and stability in the family environment. A recent study of the International Monetary Fund shows that in average, 1% increase in violence against women reduces economic activity by 8%. And the numbers in Samoa are also pointing to, unfortunately, unresolved incidents of domestic violence. We've witnessed, though, over recent years, the remarkable progress that Samoa has made in redesigning its policy foundation to promote and protect rights, including the National Policy on Gender Equality and Rights of Women and Girls 2021-2031, National Policy on Family Safety, Elimination of Family Violence 2021-2031, National Policy on Childcare and Protection for the decade we are navigating through, Community Sector Plans 2021-2026, the Law and Justice Sector Plan that finally acknowledges the need for access to justice for victims of domestic violence, the pathway for the development of Samoa that also informs of a commitment of the government to fund the domestic violence agenda, the Interagency Essential Services Guide and the District Development Plans, all aiming at advancing gender equality and ending discrimination and violence against women and girls in all forms. Also, the review of specific legislation led by the Samoa Law Reform Commission will lead to a much stronger and conducive law environment to eliminate all forms of inequality that may act as root causes of domestic violence. The initiative of the National Human Rights Institute to establish village safety committees in response to the 2017 National Inquiry led to 6 successful pilots that translated into village bylaws to eliminate all forms of violence against women and girls. So it's possible. The great success of the Spotlight is owed to the unprecedented engagement of the civil society organizations, including community and faith-based organizations under the able leadership of the Civil Society National Reference Group. It has all started with the 10-pillar strategy, including Paopao, Nogosina, Matau, Upenga, Tanoa, Ulafala, Fale, Fue, Toto, and Tuinga. Can I acknowledge with much appreciation our 10 thought leaders that made such a significant contribution to our work on ending violence against women and girls, children, and children more broadly. And thank you so much indeed for believing in this program, for bringing the community closer to the United Nations, for generating this movement around the country to end violence against women and girls. We all have learned a great deal as to how culture, including arts, best express human soul and our quest for self-worth and well-being. Fafetai Tele National Reference Group. Liberia, Tajikistan, Honduras, and Zimbabwe stood no chance in Cancun. I do not think I ever cried as much as I did that evening out of happiness and gratitude to you all for taking the nation and the program up on the global stage. Thank you, Mema Motusanga, Gabriele Apello, for making history for Samoa so many miles far away from this place. So where to from here? In 2 days, we hope our phase 2 of the Spotlight program will receive final endorsement from the Global Secretariat so that we could continue our work until the end of 2023. So we have another year ahead of us. And we have also been informed that the Secretariat included us among the countries for which additional resources will be mobilized so that our social cohesion journey in Samoa can continue beyond the lifetime of the spotlight. UN Women here present, Mele, thank you so much for joining us today, and partners will continue their work on ending violence against women and girls, drawing on the UN partnership in the Pacific with the European Union. I would like to also express much appreciation for the great work that UN family put into the Spotlight initiative. UNDP, UNESCO, UN Women, UNFPA and UNICEF colleagues, take a bow as the results of this program brought you all up on the stage in Cancun as well. On behalf of the United Nations Secretary General, I wish to thank you all at the United Nations and once again congratulate Samoa, the government, the civil society and the people everywhere in the community for driving this powerful change. We stand with her. Samoa stands with her. United and acting together to end violence against women and girls, as this year's theme guides us, we stand for women's rights and dignity. For all the victims of violence, all women and girls who lost their lives and those who live in fear, may we never abandon this mission to correct the injustices of this world and end all forms of discrimination and inequality. In Maya Angelou's words, you may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Whawhetai te lalava soifua.